so many website builders out there. And let's say, for example, you want to build a data-driven or applications wherein you can populate your data, the data in your website with data contributed from your users. And I think I'm complicating it too much. Basically, what I'm saying is, let's say, for example, you want to create a website wherein users can contribute memes or data to your application, and you will populate that. Like, for example, 9 gags or something like that. These are data that are populated from your users, and administrator of the website, the creator of the website, does not populate the data itself. So if you want to create a data-driven application, and you have absolutely no programming knowledge, and you don't know how to use it using the traditional approach, like using Node.js, Express, PostgreSQL, or any of these uh, languages, then if you actually tried Googling or researching, you might come across two of these tools. If you haven't already, then this video will also be helpful for you. Actually, it will be more helpful for you because you're in the right stage or in the right place, I guess. Because both of these tools are really good at what they do, but there's some misconception amongst a lot of people, I guess, that Bubble is not so user friendly while Webflow is. Is actually, I think Bubble serves a different purpose than what Webflow does, personally, because I think Webflow appeals to a different kind of audience than what Bubble does, and I want to help you understand and probably try to help you in choosing the right toolkit for building your next application or project, and depending on your use case. So I first want to talk about Webflow. So why is Webflow really good, or for what reasons Webflow is good, or why should you use Webflow? First thing is if you're using Bubble for creating static web pages, please remember Bubble is not made for that. I mean, this is something that a lot of Bubble users say to non-Bubble users: is why should you use Bubble over Webflow? Is that Webflow is amazing for creating static web pages, and it is true. I mean, you can create brilliant static web pages, and I know this word static makes it sound really dull and dumb, but trust me, it actually Webflow does a way better job with this than Bubble is, and I'll talk about why in the later part of it. Because with Webflow, okay, the second part of it is that you can, of course, like I said, both of these tools can actually let you create data-driven applications, which means that you can populate custom data. Or, for example, with WordPress, you can create a blog post, you can create pages. But with Webflow, you can actually define your own kind of post. Like, for example, memes. Um, we'll say, for example, a meme has a photo, where photo or video where people will actually upload the photo or video itself, and probably a title. Okay, so that's what a custom data type is. But so Webflow can allow you to populate data with data coming from users. But I'll talk about what the problem with that is. In again, the reason I've used both of these tools, and let me tell you what. Webflow has amazing website builder. Okay, it's literally the reason I want to use Webflow, but I cannot use Webflow because most of my projects have requirements that Webflow just cannot fulfill. Okay, now let me tell you, you have amazing tutorials, and not just tutorial but templates that you can actually use and build your project with. If you want to build an amazing website, like for example, you just want to create a website where users can contribute data, then I would highly recommend just Webflow. Don't use Bubble. Like let's say you want to, users can just contribute memes, or you can submit their profile and then just populate data. If you have that part of it, and if you think that's the only part in your website that involves dynamic data, then please go ahead with Webflow, because with Bubble you're gonna spend a lot of time designing the layout. Okay, because designing the layout in Bubble is a lot more complicated, because with Webflow, for example, you have a Photoshop file, and and you're a UI designer, or if you want a website to look pixel to pixel exactly in a certain way, you can actually define those settings on Bubble and it will do exactly that. But with Bubble, it's literally like a blank canvas, and you have to define what, for example, center align even looks like. Okay, those things are there, but please don't mistake me that Bubble is difficult to use and Webflow is not so difficult to use. No, both of these tools are brilliant at what they do. I will clarify what those things are in the forthcoming slides. Okay. So the next part of it is I want to talk about Webflow University. Although it's called university, it's not really a university, but basically it's just a set of extensive guides, tutorials, and video tutorials. It just looks beautiful, and it really helps those people who are not used to Webflow. It has an amazing set of tutorials or guides to begin learning with Webflow. Now, Bubble also has an amazing set of tutorials as well, but it's a lot easier with Webflow. Like for example, you're building and then you got stuck somewhere. You don't really have to go to this part. You're actually within the web builder itself. You have video tutorials. Bubble also has that, but again, it's just about what you can use Bubble to do in Webflow. Webflow's university website, it just looks and feels a lot amazing. Okay, it just feels a lot more user friendly, I believe. Now, let me talk about Bubble itself now. Now, I use Bubble personally a lot more than Webflow. Okay, I think I've not really shipped any product with Webflow, but let me talk about Bubble now. The first reason why you should use Bubble is I think, for example, with Webflow, you cannot create custom user profiles. Okay, now you can of course populate data coming from your users, but what will happen in the case of Webflow is, for example, user actually submits any data, then the user will submit data using any third-party platform like like Airtable, and the data coming from there will be populated onto Webflow on the Webflow website. So you have to use third-party services in order to get this functionality done. That's the first point. And secondly, um, the thing is that you cannot have custom memberships. Or for example, uh, if somebody, let's say Jack, okay, posted a meme, and then you want to have a user profile for the Jack inside your own website. You cannot do that with Webflow. I mean, you can identify. You can say this was created by Jack, of course, and you can say what time it was created, by whom it was created. You probably get a list like that, but it's pretty much just with Webflow it's just form. Okay, submit data and it comes to your website. But with Bubble, you can do a lot more than that. You can actually create a user profile. You can actually retrieve. I mean, the other features of Bubble are like you can define the visibility of the layer, visibility of the data. You can create REST APIs, which you can use on your native mobile application. So, for example, you want to create a mobile app or iOS or Android app, you can actually define your own API calls. Again, absolutely no programming. It defines workflows, like it has visual workflows. Okay, so you just say, when I click on this button, the first thing I want to do is this, and then this, and then this, and then this. And all of these are graphical. You don't really have to go through any of these. You don't really need to do any syntax or whatever it is. Okay, it's just visual workflows. So it works like that, but you have a lot of more power and flexibility, especially if you want to build very custom set of features. Okay, and I know this is a little difficult to understand if you're not using any of these tools and you're thinking, well, first of all, you said you can create custom data with Webflow, you can create a custom data with Bubble. Yes, but Bubble gives you a lot more uh, power and flexibility onto how you can organize data. Okay, and you can actually use Bubble's data in the long term more than you can use Webflow. I don't know if it makes sense, but yeah, I'm gonna talk about the downsides of using Bubble. Okay, I mean, if you're not looking to create a custom web functionality or a custom web feature, not just web, I think if you're someone who has absolutely no willingness to do any of these things, then you should use Webflow by all means. Now I'm going to not list down, but just I'm gonna mention two of the most terrible problems of Bubble, and I want you guys to know this. And if this thing is a big problem to you, please move on to Webflow because and I hope Bubble team or someone from Bubble actually watches this video because I think personally, as someone who uses Bubble from like 2 years, this is a problem I have encountered, and I hope they fix this. Okay. And I've heard a lot of people complaining about this. My own viewers complaining about this. They don't say this words explicitly, but I've heard this from the users where they say, "Listen, I follow your videos, but I'm literally stuck after I watch these videos." And the reason is, Bubble. When you start with Bubble, it literally gives you a blank canvas. It's almost like a Photoshop in the blank canvas, and you have to start building. Okay. Now, trust me, it is far easier than coding or whatever. Okay, but and I'm trying to make it sound difficult, but it's not. Okay, but the thing is that it annoys the hell out of people when they see blank canvas. Okay, and I'll tell you what I mean by blank canvas. It's especially when I'm designing the UI. I don't really want to. I don't really want to spend the time. For example, I want to have 3 columns. Okay, I just want like a grid that allows me to snap this particular 2 elements into one side, and then I want it center. I want it right side. But in the bubble, you really have to, use this x and y axis to specifically point this towards. It has to snap over here, and this has to snap over here, and I have to snap this over here. Now, it really gives you a blank canvas, and you have to move these elements across your canvas and place them exactly where you want them to. Not that it's a bad thing for many people. I think sometimes when you're creating, you have a lot of things to do. I think it just gets the hell out of it. It just becomes a little annoying because I don't really need so much control. I just want to snap these elements in particular places. So if I can have, I don't know, some system where I can just um, snap these elements, that will be amazing. Okay, that bootstrap like 12 column system, I would be really grateful if I had that because it's really annoying to do that all the time. And boy, Webflow does that really well. Okay, I mean, there's a lot of times I tried to move to Webflow, but I could not because it does not solve the problem. That it does not help me with what I want to actually build. So yeah. The second, most annoying thing for me about Bubble is this responsive web design tool. Like, come on, oh my god. Let me talk about this responsive thing for a minute here. We live in the age where there are so many frameworks and um, there's so many frameworks out there and like Bootstrap and so many other interfaces. Okay, I still have to define how it looks, or I have to define the percentage, or define the size of each of these elements when the screen shrinks down to this many sizes. Again, I'm not saying this should not be the case, but I think there should be another feature or another way to define the responsiveness. I mean, I think the layout builder is what I'm talking about. I think there should be a much better layout builder. You have to define how it looks like on different screen sizes in the case of Google. Okay, it just it's just so annoying a lot of times. Okay, and it's not that I have not been able to pull this off. I've built some really good responsive websites actually. Recently, I'm working on a project and it looks amazing actually with the responsiveness, and it actually works. It's not like it doesn't work, but it takes a lot of time to make it look good on, especially on mobile. Okay, um, it requires a lot of planning, especially if you want to build a responsive website. So please, a much better layout builder from Bubble team. If you're watching this video, please put some effort into building a good layout builder. But let me tell you guys something. If if you're building a custom website, like data-driven website, Bubble is literally like a cockpit. Okay, it gives you control over every single part of the web application. And there's a lot of times people just get in touch with me via call and tell me, "Hey, what can you do with Bubble?" And my answer most of the time is you can create almost anything. Um, so long as you're not creating a mobile app. At least not as of now. You can of course create a mobile app, but you will actually need to submit your application to Bubble, and Bubble will compile that into a mobile application and send it back to you. And that is not really a mobile app builder, and I think you do need to make a lot of effort into creating a application if you're creating a mobile app with Bubble. But the only way to create a mobile app as of now is you have to create a REST API, and then you can export it onto other services like Fungible or Xcode or Android, and then build your interface over there and then build the app. I know it's a lot difficult right now. Bubble has this mobile app builder on their roadmap, so this is not going to be the case always. So as of right now, building mobile apps is not ideal. So it's not really easy to do. That's what I'm trying to say. And if you're trying to build web applications with custom features, please do give Bubble a shot. Webflow is really not even half as powerful as Bubble is to me personally, but it is really useful for a lot of things. Anyways, I want to top this off by saying it doesn't really matter. I think to a lot of people, Webflow gets the job done, and to some people, but they need something as powerful as Bubble. And it doesn't really matter in the end of the day, if as long as you can just build and ship. Okay, just like if you really have time, then just go through all of these, and I hope this video actually helped you in choosing or probably saved your time in learning either of these tools. Bubble is, again, let me tell you, is for building custom web features, while Webflow is for creating brilliant websites with custom layouts and custom data types. Okay, but you don't really need to have a lot of features, and I think for a lot of people that gets the job done. So I hope this video helped you, and if you did, please be sure to subscribe to my channel and visit my website at hasher.in, and I shall see you guys in another video very soon.